You're listening to Captain John Doe, real aviation stories told anonymously. Let's get into it.
Welcome back. Another beautiful Wednesday here on the Captain John Doe podcast. I am Kevin, and I am with my lovely wife,
Mindy. Hi.
Man, it's exciting to be back. So, normally we're not a local current events podcast, but a couple things have happened recently that I think are exciting. Maybe not. As Spirit Airlines announced that they are recalling all 511 pilots back to work.
What does that mean?
So that's the question that I have, right? I'm in all of the Facebook groups everybody else is in, and the overwhelming consensus is Spirit apparently is currently losing about 100 pilots a month that are jumping ship. So what the current Spirit pilots are kind of alluding to is they just don't have enough people to staff, so they're bringing everybody back.
I don't understand. Why are they furloughed if they don't have enough people?
Well, they were furloughed when they went bankrupt. So they got rid of all those pilots, and now they're saying we need them all back. So the optimistic person that I am wants to think that Spirit might be turning the tides, but these current employees are kind of given a different picture. So I don't know, maybe you guys have more information and can kind of chime in, but the fact that they're recalling to me is interesting, could be exciting. Mindy and I were chatting about this earlier, like, would you go back? I don't know how to answer.
Well, it seems like a lot of those furloughed pilots, to your point, were looking for other jobs and got other jobs and haven't even informed Spirit of that yet, right? So they might be recalling back 511 pilots, but they might not get 511 back.
No, they might get a couple back. We have a couple friends in that situation where they moved on right away, and I don't think that they plan on going back.
Right. I mean, you need job security, so I don't blame them for looking for other jobs when you're furloughed, when every other airline's not furloughing right now.
No, every airline's hiring right now, right?
Right. Yeah, that's interesting.
It's just something that I was reading, and I'm like, bring it up because I'm sure we have some Spirit guys and girls listening, maybe that are furloughed. Maybe you guys can chime in and we can kind of get a perspective, because I don't know anything how this works. I've never been in a position of furloughed like this, so it's just unique.
Yeah, that's why I kind of like the career paths that we are on, that you're going airline and I'm staying in business aviation, because there's no doubt that in your career, you're probably going to get furloughed at some point, right? I mean, that's the reality of airline life. And it's an incredibly stable job, but I mean, almost every airline pilot I know has gone through furloughs.
Yeah, I think that that's a big point that you made. I was chatting with one of my buddies just yesterday, and we were talking about the potential rise in fuel prices and unknowns that could happen with the travel industry this summer. Will it affect passengers? Maybe not. They don't know. And that's the only thing you have to go off of, is just like keep on pursuing that dream or that goal, because you can't control, the current market, the current political climate, or anything like that.
Yeah, totally.
Another thing that I am really excited about is I typically say, if you guys are ever in Vegas, come out and do a discovery flight. So I had a couple happen this past week. One couple coming from the UK.
What?
Which is so exciting. And that got me thinking about the European license conversion to the FAA license. And I've had this happen now a couple times where I have people reach out how to do it. So I've kind of tried to learn a little bit. If anyone out here listening that has a EASA license, a European license, and wanting to transfer it to a FAA license, there is a process, but the easiest thing you can do is contact the Flight Standard District office of whatever location you plan on doing your transition to. They're going to walk you through the steps. It's something called a piggyback license that you would get as long as you have your private pilot license. If you wanted to get any extra ratings, you would then have to do a new check ride with an FAA examiner. You also need to do a flight review with an instructor and maybe some written tests. There's a lot more in the weeds there, but I found it interesting because this couple that I flew with the other day are not the first people that reached out to me about this. So if
they did this,
she was planning on contacting the FSDO like today to get that piggyback.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I also have another guy that is starting flight training with me who is going through this process. So anyone out there in Europe or wherever, if you're looking to fly in the U.S. and act as pilot in command, there are some steps. Contact the Flight Standard District Office that you're flying at. And as always, please, please, please like, follow, subscribe on the Captain John Doe podcast, on our socials, on everything. Leave a review. They mean more than you can ever think. This is how our podcast keeps getting put out there. And I always like to read 2 of them. So today we're going to start with Dougie P357. Great podcast, 5 stars only.
Hey.
I listen to a lot of podcasts, mostly political. This is a refreshing change from my normal listening and very entertaining. Thanks, Doug. Yeah, we try not to get political here. I'm not going to talk about what's going on overseas. We kind of alluded a little bit to like gas prices. I know.
Your entire intro.
I know.
Your entire intro was all current events. And you always say we're not current events.
I know. But
I was sitting here like, what is he doing?
But the spirit thing is relative. The gas prices, I've had many students talk to me. We're not going to talk about politics. Okay. I apologize, Dougie. You're right. Never again. So thank you for listening. This will be the only time. All right. Blue Skies, Arizona, I don't know, AZ04. Actually, the best podcast out there. Wow.
Number 1.
Wow. I love listening to podcasts at work, but the aviation podcasts get insanely boring and technical. I love the humor and the stories you guys share because I'm a nosy person. LOL. Can't wait to see if my story makes it on there. I bet you it will. I don't know which story it is, but I bet it will.
I'm sure it will. If you submitted it, we're getting there. I mean, I'm trying to look at our spreadsheet to see what date we're from.
It's like November.
Several months ago.
I honestly think it's like November, December. October? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting there. I mean, it's just, we get so many submissions, and I promise you when you guys leave them, we're going to, so real quick, if I was just reading one, somebody said that I talked too much about my personal stories. I read the review and I'm going to read it on the podcast. There's nothing off limits. So sorry, whoever put that in there. I'm still going to
What are you talking about?
If you look, one of the things that said, Kevin talks too much about himself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this your podcast?
I thought that maybe like my sister might have wrote that, but
I think it is your podcast. So I'm pretty sure you're allowed to talk about yourself. So yeah, that is what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, but my point is if you submit it, I'm reading it.
Yeah. We're not skipping anything.
As always, we're doing a monthly merch giveaway all year long. One winner selected on the 4th Wednesday of every month, which I believe is next podcast,
I think
right?
it's 2 more.
Let me look real quick. It is
2 more.
2 more. So 2 more episodes from now, we're going to do another drawing, and you're going to get a Captain John Doe t-shirt, which is awesome.
And other stuff.
So you can enter for free by following us on Instagram and engaging in our monthly giveaway posts, leaving us a podcast review, and sending us a DM after you complete it is an extra entry. Click on our show name on Apple Podcasts, scroll to the bottom, and add your rating. It's open to U.S. residents 18 and older. For the full rules, it's linked in our Instagram bio and on our website, www.captainjohndoe.com.
I love that you say www. That's so nice.
Listen, you normally do this part. I'm trying over here. Everyone knows.
worldwideweb.captainjohndoe.com. No one says www anymore.
All right. So let's get into the first story. So this one, I said we're not doing current news, but this one.
Your entire episode today I will say you made it because I've been a little behind the curve lately. I was violently ill the last 2 days, and you created the whole structure of all current events.
I don't know why.
I try to pick out funny stuff, and you picked out like 6 news stories. And so before we got on to recording, I was like, Kevin, you got to fix this. We can't read all news stories.
I know. I've been scrolling Facebook way too much because I've been sick as well this week. So a lot of time on the phone. But this one, a lot of people have probably read this one already, and it gets you riled up. So that's why I'm reading it, even though it's not a submission. The next one will be.
I want to hear it.
All right. A Minnesota pilot is fighting to get his plane back after it was seized by tribal police following an emergency landing on the Red Lake Indian Reservation. Smedso was flying a single-engine Stinson from Roseo to Bemidji. Oh, gosh.
These are tough names.
Oh, gosh.
All of these.
When the engine failed midair, forcing him to land on a state road. Moments later, Red Lake tribal officers confiscated the plane, citing a 1978 tribal law banning aircraft from flying over tribal land below 20,000 feet. Smedso says he had no warning the area was a restricted zone and now faces a tribal court trial on November 3rd to retrieve his aircraft. The land is theirs, but they're claiming the air is also theirs. They don't control the air, he said. Aviation groups are backing Smedso, arguing the federal law overrides local airspace rules. The incident has alarmed pilots nationwide who fear similar cases could follow. So, real quick before we dive into that, I'm going to give you a little update. The reason I wanted to share this is because this incident happened a while back, but he's gotten through some of the court cases, and the Red Lake tribe has determined for him to get his plane back, they are demanding he pay $10,000 to the local community and to pay for the towing bill.
This is bullshit.
Yeah. So, anyways, any thoughts there, Schmin?
Well, you just heard my thought. This is bullshit. That sucks. I mean, he had an engine failure. It was forced to land there. It's not like he was doing a joy flight onto their land, which would be potentially a whole nother conversation. But they're saying that they own the airspace to 20,000 feet. I wonder if that's actually depicted on the map.
It's not.
To pilots. It's not. Okay, so it's just something they say, but it's not an FAA airspace regulation. So, okay, the FAA should have his back here, first of all, saying like, sorry, like it's not depicted. He's allowed to fly. But also, who's to say he wasn't flying at 21,000 feet and had an engine failure and had a forced landing?
That's the issue, because when you read this article, like the tribal leaders come in and say, you know, he was flying super low. Well, he wasn't flying super low until his engine quit.
Yeah,
that's why this pilot was flying low. Like it's not a very good precedent. I understand, you know, I'm not here to talk about tribal law. I don't know anything about it. I get that there can be some resignation there on their end that something was on their land. But at the end of the day, this pilot was in a life or death situation and you are holding his airplane hostage, which makes no sense.
That's BS.
Makes no sense.
That's what makes me upset is like if I just survived an emergency landing from a engine failure and immediately am met with police confiscating my airplane because I illegally landed there, that they're saying, I would be so upset. Like, where's the humanity on, even if this was a strict rule, like let's say he did break rules or anything, but he was forced there from an emergency, like where's the humanity on these people being like, hey, we get it. Like you just survived this emergency landing, get out of here.
Why would you not want them gone? Because can you imagine the disturbance this has caused?
Right.
Because they've involved AOPA, obviously they've involved the government. Like this is an unnecessary pain on, you know, this community there that wants to probably be left alone, clearly.
And now they want $10,000 for the towing bill, which is, again, BS because he didn't ask for his plane to be towed. Like, you towed it.
No, I'll play a little devil's advocate because there's so much about this.
Okay, well, this is all the information I have.
Yeah.
I am new to this.
So people who live up in the Minnesota area know this tribe, and they have all said, overwhelmingly, you do not fly over their airspace.
Really?
Not because it's depicted. They just say you don't go in there because they don't want any outsiders coming in.
In Minnesota?
In Minnesota.
Not some remote island
This
in
is
the Indian
Minnesota.
Ocean?
Exactly. It's in Minnesota, which is such a weird thing, because think about it. If you knew nothing about the story and you were flying from Chicago to freaking Iowa, and you happen to fly over the Red Lake tribe, how would you know? There's nothing there. If this is true, the FAA should put some sort of TFR, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know about TFR, but maybe just restricted airspace or something if it's going to be permanent. But I don't understand, because how would I know? I would have flown over that totally unknowing.
100%. But the fact that the government's not stepping in tells me they don't disagree with the tribe. So they should, at the bare minimum, put some sort of notum saying don't fly over this area, because if you have to land, you're not getting your airplane back. Weird.
You want to talk about any other Minnesota news?
Can you stop? This is aviation related. Can you imagine a boat?
Oh, no, nothing else?
No. What are you laughing at?
Well, you're Mr. Current Events man now. Didn't know if you wanted to dive into any other Minnesota topic.
Oh, here we go. Oh, I'm just advocating for my potential presidency here. How to change the water laws in Minnesota.
Not what I was.
I know. That's why I said it, man. I'm not getting caught in this freaking trap. It's a public podcast.
I can't get you canceled.
Future employers are probably listening, waiting for me to mess up. I'm trying not to.
Well, that was a perfect execution of you not messing up.
Pivoting, right?
All right, next story. After arriving at London Heathrow Airport, I was seen through departures by a private agent to return to New York City on the Concorde. Saw the captain walk through the lounge, and I asked if there wasn't a supermodel on board today, may I please have the chance to sit up front? A nod and a wink later, I knew it was a crapshoot. 1.5 hours into our flight, a stewardess approached my seat requesting that I move to the jump seat behind the captain for the remainder of the flight. Of course, he pointed out other aircraft that we were screaming past, and I was there for the descent, nose lowering, and landing. An amazing experience. To top it off, at the time, you could have your airplane meet you at the Concorde ramp and depart immediately. I was flying a Lear 35A at the time, and the pilots came down after deplaning the other passengers. An amazing trip back to the USA.
How cool is this person, first of all?
Swag.
One, they got to fly in the Concorde. I don't know anyone who's ever flown in the Concorde. Two, somehow they got the pilot to let them sit in the jump seat. And three, his freaking Learjet was waiting for him on the ramp.
Do you think he owned it or that he was a pilot on it?
I was flying a Learjet at the time, and the pilots came down after deplaning.
I think he meant the Concorde pilots came down.
Okay. Either way, doesn't discredit how cool this person is.
Well, either way, so if he was the pilot on the Lear 35, how much swagger did he have to stage the plane that he was working on next to his own flight coming in?
I want to meet you because you are definitely one of the most interesting men in the world, or females.
Yeah, I'm confused about the Lear 35.
Flying on the Concorde alone gives me little goosebumps.
Yeah, that must have been so freaking iconic.
Crazy.
And how he mentioned the lows lowering and landing. The landing profile on that plane to be in the cockpit had to have felt freaking insane.
Crazy.
Right?
Crazy. I don't remember, but it's like a 3-story high is like where you are.
Yeah, you're like looking up at the sky as the wheels are touching.
We need to make a petition starting at the Captain John Doe podcast to bring back the Concorde. Bring it back, people.
Yeah,
because I want to have an experience like this and be able to tell the Englishman captain, "Hello, sir. Can I come and sit in the jump seat with you?"
And when we land, my Lear 35 will be right next door, and I will hop on over to it.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Whoever you are.
Also, back in the time where people actually dress nice to fly, are you pro, con, or indifferent to how people dress when traveling?
I don't care, but apparently Tampa International Airport cares.
Oh, Tampa International Airport.
For events.
So funny. If you guys don't follow their Instagram account, I've been following them for a long time because we're from Florida and used to fly in there all the time. Their actual Tampa International Airport Instagram account, like that's actually the airport account, is like a full meme account. It is so funny. And there's a lot of like ongoing storyline about the big flamingo in there. Like they have really funny stuff, but they banned Crocs, the footwear, from the Tampa International Airport the other day. And it made headline news because people thought they were serious because it's actually their account. But whoever runs it is so funny. They joke on there all the time.
That's amazing. I think they also said something about pajama bottoms too.
Yes. So
yeah. But back to your question, I mean, honestly, I don't care what you wear. If I was going to have a critique, I wish that we had a little bit more service on the plane.
What do you mean?
Maybe a little snack that is more than some pretzels.
Like, what do you expect?
Like if we're on an international carrier, when we travel, even if we're doing on a 2-hour flight, you get a meal. I'm not saying we need a full meal, but maybe like a premium snack would be nice. You know,
I could not care less about
I know you don't, but I don't care how you dress. Like, be comfortable. We're sitting in a.
I know, but you also have to be respectful of the people around you. Like, sometimes you're flying and people are wearing like hardly anything, like half shirts and flip flops and just like grossness.
Hygiene is more important to me than what you're wearing.
That's what I'm talking.
Yeah, it's more hygiene. Like, if you can afford to fly on a commercial airliner, you have a shower. I'm just going to say.
Yeah.
So that's where I would draw the line. I don't really care what you wear, but just put some deodorant on and maybe brush your teeth because we're all together in that plane.
I guess it's not about what you wore. I just love that at this point in time of the Concorde, people would dress to the nines to fly. And I just feel like it was just a nod of respect to the industry and to how luxury it was and how fortunate they were to be able to fly on the Concorde and to fly and travel at all. It was very much a privilege.
Yeah.
And now I just feel like we really lost the plot.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a privilege to fly. Don't get us wrong. We're not negating that, but it is a lot more within grasp. And I think that we forget how fortunate it is to fly in an airplane.
Can you imagine taking someone off this flight back then from London to New York City on the Concorde and time traveling them to today and putting them on a Spirit flight? They would be
on the red eye from Vegas back to Orlando.
Yes, on a Friday night, Las Vegas Spirit flight. They would be besides themselves.
We're not knocking on Spirit. The other thing too that we kind of just forgot about is they let them in the jump seat. That would never happen.
Yeah, you just got to ask the pilot, hey, can I sit up front with you?
That would never happen.
And the pilot got to decide.
Yeah.
How cool is that? They got to be like, yeah, you seem cool. Come sit up front.
Yeah, no, now they have bulletproof doors with 3 locking mechanisms and that door does not open.
Man, people really ruined it. People suck.
Well, thanks for the story because that made us wish that we could go back in time and fly in a Concorde and then hop on our Learjet to wherever you were going.
Freaking cool.
I want to believe that he was the owner.
Okay.
I think he was the pilot, but for you listening out there, I'm believing you.
If he got the plane he was working on to be next to his arrival, that's pretty dope.
So dope. All right, we'll do an advice section here. How about that?
Okay.
All right. Hey guys, first of all, I love the podcast. I've listened to every episode every week since you started making them.
Thank you.
The broadness of this podcast, from the laughs to the sessions, and what really keeps me hooked. Anyways, I'm a 22-year-old working on my commercial at a Part 141 school. Part 141 school, for those that don't know, is more... We'll equate it to like a college program. I know it's not everyone who's doing this, but
typically
for our non-pilot listeners, it's more like a college. I'm also getting a bachelor's in science in aviation and aerospace for restricted airline transport license and working line crew at a local flight school. That being said, my schedule's tight. Being only 22, I feel like I should have more time to hang out with friends and family, but I rarely get one day a week to do so. I love flying and I love what I'm doing, but it's a lot of fucking work. Any tips on balance? Am I what?
Why did you pause before saying that? That was so
Well, I forgot if we could say that or not.
so drama. Well, I was expecting you to say freaking work, and then you said it anyway. I was like, wow, you really led up to that.
I was like, my brain's like, can I say this or not? I'm pretty sure we put explicit on here.
Remember, it's your podcast.
All right. Any tips on balance? Am I in a hard spot right now with commercial time building and any other non-flying jobs you guys could recommend looking into? Love the podcast. Thank you guys.
Yes, you are in a very hard spot right now with commercial time building and getting your degree and working line crew at a local flight school. You are in a tough part of life. It might be enjoyable, and it sounds like it is, and it's all the things that you want to be doing. But 100%, we all go through different chapters of life that are more strenuous, where you really have to grind. And then you're going to achieve some of those goals and it'll slow down. And then guess what? Whenever you start your first airline job, it's going to ramp right back up. You're going to have no time for friends or family for 6, 8, 12 months while you're onboarding and going through all of your school and type rating school and everything like that. But I do understand, though, that doing all this at 22 is hard because you're probably looking at your other friends, probably not in aviation at 22, and they're partying and they're in frats and they're doing all these crazy stuff, and you're not. But I would not compare yourself to them.
No, I can. We don't have the crystal ball here, but I can tell you, Mindy and I were 22 working full time when all of our other friends were just doing whatever. What I can tell you is that paid off for us. Now, we still work our asses off. We still don't have a lot of time. But in the past decade of our relationship, we've had the ability to travel. We have the ability to own an airplane because when we were 22, we made a decision to work hard. And it's really, really tough to do because you do want to go do that. I definitely recommend taking 2 days off a week. You know, that's something that
But sometimes you can't.
I know.
Sometimes you can't. And it sounds like they can't. And it comes and it goes. Like, we are in a grind spot right now and it sucks.
Yeah.
It's all things we're choosing to do and all things that we're excited about, but it doesn't make it less painful to say no to going to dinners and brunches and birthday parties and going home to see our family. It's still hard, even though this is what we're choosing to do. But you choose your hard, right? And it sounds like you are a very hard worker and you're on the right path and it'll pass. Are you ever going to be 22 again, though? No. And that's a really hard pill to swallow. But you're working so hard towards your goals and you're going to achieve them that much faster if you stay on track and get to the sweet, amazing life of being in your mid-20s with an amazing career and money to travel and go do these amazing, luxurious things. So I think work-life balance is not always, the perfect 50-50. Sometimes it's all work, no life. And then sometimes you have a lot of life and work is slow. But yeah, I feel you. These grind periods are tough.
Yeah. I mean, you're 22. I mean, if you're not going to see it right now, but when you're 25 years old, there's a legit chance you could be working for a legacy airline and your entire life will change that fast. And that's happens to people who work hard and they have somebody looking out for them, like a mentor, and they get a little lucky. You don't get lucky unless you work hard, though.
Right. So you said any tips on balance? Again, I just think that you're doing the right thing. That's probably not what you wanted to hear. I am such a huge advocate of work-life balance, though. Like, you can't do this forever. Like, you've got to, like, once you achieve these milestones, it's going to slow down, right? So as long as it's not a full-time job that you're stuck in forever with no opening, no light at the end of the tunnel, then I think you should just keep grinding and working hard. I think you're on the right track.
Yeah, I mean, just think about what we do. We're grinding. We're in the grinding period, but we still find time at least 3 or 4 times a week to make sure we go out, socialize, and have fun. It might not be a vacation, but
Right.
it's still doing something. Like, it's still important to do that. I know I'm trying to get more on that health kick, and I get it. It's important to still make sure you're healthy, especially in this career. When you look at other non-flying jobs, I would...
Oh, yeah, they said, and any other non-flying jobs you guys would recommend looking into. Why?
I think, are you asking us like a non-flying job that works with flying and time building? Because if that's your question, I mean, a bartender.
Well, he's working line crew at the local flight school. I think that that's a great thing to do.
Yeah, because I'm a little confused at the question. Are you asking what other jobs would be doable while you're time building?
Or are you talking about leaving the pilot career because of this work-life balance?
Yeah, I'm not going to advocate on that part because I quit my career to be a pilot, so I'm not going to be a hypocrite there. So
it's not always going to be this hard. Like, once you're a captain at Delta, like, you're working half the month or less.
Yeah.
So you're going to get there.
Mindy and I have all these old guys always tell us this, cliche thing, when you have all the time, you have no money. When you have all the money, you have no time. Where we forget is when you have no time and no money. And every single person, especially in this community, has that happen for a good portion of your young life.
Yeah.
And that's where you're at. And it's okay because you are not unique. I like to use that word. We're not unique. We're going through the same thing someone else did. And look at those people in front of you, not as like a jealousy thing, but almost as like, a mentor or a goal, or use what they did well, use what they did poorly to propel your own self and your own career.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm sorry that I feel like we're not giving you the advice that you want.
Well, just that last question. I don't know.
Yeah, on a non-flying job, you mean? Yeah.
Look at his stats.
I love what you're doing.
Yeah, look at his stats. He's got a freaking degree. He obviously went to a college. He's got restricted ATP. So for those out there that are wondering what those words mean, to be able to get hired by a commercial airliner, you have to have at least 1,500 flight hours. If you went to a college or a program that is under this special restricted thing, you can cut those hours off by up to 500 total hours, which really saves money in the long run. So,
well, anyway, last thing on this, I think you're on the right path. Stay the course. Keep your head down. You're going to get through this so freaking fast. You're already at commercial at 22. Like, you are going to be buzzing through this. So just get through this tough period of life, and life is going to be so much sweeter on the other side.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for everyone else listening to the podcast. And I look forward to next Wednesday.
See ya.
Thanks for flying with Captain John Doe. If you have a story to share, visit CaptainJohnDoe.com and stay anonymous. New episodes every Wednesday. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and tell your favorite crew members.